Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to some Club 100 racing here at sunny Lydd. Well, the Saturday wasn't too sunny, it was very rainy in fact, but today the Sunday is very sunny for the sprints, and we're starting off heat number 1, race number 3 of the day behind Adam Wright, who's on pole. We're on P3, and as you can see, we've got a new 360 cam bringing you all types of fun, different perspective footage now, so hopefully you enjoy that. Leave a comment down below if you do indeed. But as you can see, we managed to get ourselves up into P2 off the start, got a good run, and that's quite a treacherous first chicane here at Lydd, but everyone seems to get through that pretty well. And we have a quick look behind us, and you can see we've already started to put a bit of a gap to the carts behind. As they started fighting a little bit going through that bottom corner, we managed to pull a bit of a gap, and now it's down to hunting Adam Wright, who's in front of us, and as we know, is a very quick driver indeed. So down the main straight in here, actually today we had a bit of a tailwind going down that main straight. The Saturday beforehand and the previous time here at Lydd, it was a very strong headwind, so it's quite nice to be getting some help down that main straight this time. A few laps into the race, we're catching up with Adam here, and we felt like he was better than us in most places around the circuit, but one place we definitely felt a bit better was going through those final two right-handers, and you can see this time round, going on to lap 5, we're right on the bumper, but we get it wrong going through the chicane. You really needed to hit that inside left-hand curb, and this time we didn't, and as you can see, that's allowed Adam to pull all of that time that we managed to gain on him through the last two corners. He's pulled it all back, and that would have been our last opportunity, even though coming onto this last lap, lap number 10, we're really trying to eke it out, see if we can possibly make a capitalise rather on any mistake he might have made through the last corner, but he doesn't, and we have to settle for P2. However, it was quite a confidence boosting race this one, as Adam and I would come in around about 10 seconds ahead of P3. So with that, it was a pretty good start to the day, and we move on to heat number 2, where we're starting P5. Again, on the nice side of the grid for that first turn, but as it's a chicane, our advantage through the first turn is negated through the second part. But an alright start this time. We look to the inside, we've got to give it a little bit of space to the cart on our left hand side, but we're able to move up into P4, have a little bit of a sniff going into the second of the chicanes, but nothing doing this time round, and don't get the best of runs through there, but not the end of the world. As we can see up ahead, we've not lost touch too much, and as the two carts in front of us start fighting, we get a good run, but Alex Pritchard comes through on the inside going into the fast right-hander before the horseshoe corner, a corner that I was really struggling with over the course of the day. Really couldn't put that together, and it would be my Achilles heel for the Sunday. Hopefully if we go back to Lydd next year, I can think about getting that corner a bit better and see if that gets a better result. But either way, we've not lost anything over the course of the first lap, but we've not gained anything either, as we're in P5. Alex Pritchard, I think, started in P6 or 7, has managed to work his way forwards, and Anwar, who started on pole for this race, has started to check out, showing why he's got the number 1 plate on the front of his car. As Alex goes up the inside through bottom corner, we see if we can try and follow him through. We're in the slipstream here, and we're not quite able to get fully alongside as we go through the right hand, which means we're stuck on the outside as we go around the horseshoe part of the corner. As you can see how much that hurts momentum wise, to the point where I end up having to look behind and think about defending going down towards the final two corners. You can see Mike Bodner just sort of peeking his helmet over the shoulder there, looking to see if he can capitalise on any mistakes by myself, but we managed to hold on to that P5. And as we move forward into the race, we see Steve Bosley having a go at the car that's currently in P3, and this time we get a good little slingshot going to that right-hander, and I have a little bit of a think about it, but we didn't really get enough of a run going into the final two corners, but I do get a good run as we go up towards the first corner now. Steve tries to hold it around the outside of the first, but that means he's got a really compromised line as we go through the second part of the chicane, and I get a much better run, give him the universal karting sign for let's think and try and work forward together. But in that bit of kart combattery, there's a bit of a gap that's developed. However, a lap or so later, managed to have broken that gap down, get a good run through that first chicane, and pull alongside as we go towards the second one, and very obliging overtake move there. Didn't have to fight that one too hard, but around a circuit like this Lydd circuit, you didn't want to be fighting too hard because it was a guaranteed way to lose time, and even the slightest of mistakes, you lost a lot of momentum around here. So sometimes if someone was going to go for the move, a little bit like Alex did to us on the first lap, it was better to let them have it and see if you could tuck him behind. Now this is our back start, the third of 3 heats. We've had a front start, a middle start and a back start this time, where we're starting in P10, so the left hand side of the grid where we get the better run through the second half. But you can see here Kart's go around the outside there, get a bit of a better run, and we look to have a bit of a send going into the second chicane, but nothing doing this time. But we are able to carry more momentum around the outside, tuck in behind Alex, give him a little bump to get him through. And then as we go through the right-hander, get a little bit of help from behind, which sends us into the side of Mike Bodner, which is not ideal, but not too much of a disadvantage for either of us. And then had a little look over the shoulders to protect going into the right-hander before horseshoe. And there was no attack coming from there, so we were able to tuck in and see what we could do. Now you can see here, going through the final 2 right-handers, still carrying good speed through there, but almost a bit too much as I caught up on the kart in front in not a particularly great place, which meant I had to sort of check up. I lost my momentum, and that would mean that an overtaking move couldn't be made into turn 1. But we'll have a little bit of a think. We don't want Alex, who I think is currently in front here, to get away too quickly, because we know he's fast, and if we can, we want to try and stay in his slipstream, because around Lydd and well, any other power circuit really, so like Lydd is, the slipstream is absolutely huge, and if you lose track of that, you can be a real sitting duck or just stuck in no man's land, and we don't want that to happen. So on lap 2 we've worked our way up into P7, and we want to try and work our way forwards. Bit of fighting there as Adrian Way gets forced onto the curb, and we tuck him behind Alex Pritchard, give him a bit of a nudge which gets him up inside of Adrian Way. We try to follow him through, but I get stuck on the outside of Adrian there, and he holds his ground securely, and a good bit of driving there from him and I to not have too much contact, and I have to tuck in and settle for P7. No advantage again there, but Adrian gets up the inside of the car in front, and he's able to make the move going into the first chicane. I'm not able to follow him through, and this would lead to several laps of frustration. Let's have a look going into the second chicane, but nothing doing this time round. Now, the car in front at the moment is a super heavyweight, which you'd normally think super heavyweight find it a little bit harder to get off the corners and have straight line speed, but driver in front was doing a good job of maintaining speed, and he was also defending well as we go into that right-hander, really limiting the space that I had on the inside there, which stopped me from being able to get the move up the inside. And then as you can see, going down this main straight, even with the toe, really struggling to get up and alongside, trying to make that move going into turn 1. And then even though I was able to carry a lot more speed through the final 2 rights, it was almost to my detriment, where I wasn't able to maintain it. As you can see here, 360 cam coming into play here, but not able, again, having been squeezed right towards the right-hand side, wasn't able to keep enough momentum without making contact, and obviously you don't want to make contact in order to effect an overtaking manoeuvre. So we end up having to tuck him behind again, and oh god, closing speed there. It's good for me, but it's not at the same time, as I said before. Just not able to take advantage of that speed. See there, taking the curb on the left-hand side really helps get the exit of that corner, but we're now stuck on the outside going into chicane 2. Not going to be able to make a pass work round there, and so still 7th place, 6 laps into this race, and the group in front are starting to disappear. It's going to be hard work to try and catch back up with them, but we still got to make this move work. Having another go going in towards the right-hander, squeeze for space again, little bit of rub in between us, but not able to carry the speed around the outside. I mean, you'd need a hell of an overspeed to carry the speed around the outside there. And this time having a look up the inside, maybe not to affect the pass, but to try and get the car in front offline. And then this time he misses the apex on the second part, and I'm able to get up the inside going into turn 1. And that's finally, after several laps of trying to make it work, up into P6 with about a 1.7 second gap to the car in front. And coming onto the last lap, that gap has been brought down, but it basically means that we've got 1 lap to try and get as far forward in this race as possible. Now, unknowns to me at this point, several karts in front had penalties. The only one that I knew about and that I'd seen was Alex Pritchard had been given a penalty, but again, not sure whether that was a cone and only a 1 or 2 place penalty, or maybe something else which was carrying more places. But a better run coming off the bottom corner, get pointed through, sort of being shown like, let's not lose too much time, if you're going for the move, let's go for it. And coming onto the back straight now, lots of fighting happening up in front. We latch onto the back of Alex Pritchard, push him along because he's on the best position here going towards the last 2 corners, seeing as he's right on the inside. and trying to get across the line as many positions as we can, jumping in the seat to try and line it up and get some acceleration, and we'd cross the line in 4th place. But that, with penalties to 3 cars to finish ahead of us, would be a win. So that's a 1st, a 2nd and a 3rd in the heats, which would mean I qualified P3 for the A final behind Joe Holmes, multi-champion, and Anwar Bowl-Smith, last year's champion, on the front row together. Now, behind Joe, want to try and get a good start, but the absolute opposite happened. Get a terrible start off the line, and what was P3 becomes P4 instantly as Adam Wright is able to take advantage of our poor start. And even though we don't lose touch too much, the karts in front, we would have really preferred not to have gone backwards. If anything, tried to secure P3 and maybe even had a go at Anwar in P2. But as it is, I lose a position, and it's now going to be a case of trying to keep up with Adam. We had that battle against each other in Heat 1, and we know he's quick around here, especially this horseshoe corner. He was getting it much better than I was, and if I'm going to try and stay in his toe, got to be better going through there, because at this point with Joe and Anwar in front, the risk is that they're just going to clear off into the distance, check out and make it a 2-horse race, but we don't want that to happen. If I can get on to Adam at this point and try and push him along, that's going to be our chance to try and keep up with the boys in front. But if we move on to lap 4, I haven't been able to really do that. Again, Adam's been really good through every other corner, apart from this one where we seem to be able to carry a bit more speed and regain that. But as I come through the first couple of corners, even taking that first chicane quite well, not able to get up onto the rear bumper of Adam there and push him along, and that's what really needed to be happening at this point in the race. I needed to have been on that rear bumper pushing Adam along. Now a few laps later, on to lap 10 now, just a few little mistakes here and there had led to we're still in the tow just, but not able to push along. And at this point I had Alex Pritchard, who'd been bumping me along at this point, and it wasn't letting him through there by no means. It was a good move made by Alex, but I sort of said to myself that if he is going to go for a move, I'm not going to fight it, and I'm going to try and latch on to Alex, because he's clearly got some good pace. I mean, he was taking the first chicane, as you're about to see here, absolutely spot on throughout the course of the day. I mean, I don't take it badly here, but Alex just takes it a lot better than I do, and he managed to pull out several kart lengths. And this would kind of be the race from this point. I'd sort of catch up, be able to get onto his bumper here and there, but in general, just Alex had the pace on me, and I couldn't really get into a place. Apart from, as we move on to this last lap, we're right in a position for, if Alex is to make a mistake, we could capitalise and regain our P4. We're leading C2 at the moment, which is good. I don't want to do anything stupid and take both of us out, but if an opportunity presents itself, I will absolutely try and take it. So through the bottom corner, probably take a bit too much speed in, and that hurts us on the exit. And through this long left-hander, take it pretty well, but you can see Alex is just pulling out a bit of a gap between us, looking over the shoulders to make sure that I'm not gaining on him too quickly in the toe. And as we come through the last 2 corners, even though I take some good entry speed and close that gap down, not close enough, and it'll end up being P5 in the A final. A good race there against Alex. It was a close call, but he definitely deserved to come in ahead of me. He was much more consistent and had better pace over the course of the race. But C2 win, which is always good, seeing if we can work our way towards being at the top of the C2 pile by the end of the year. But thank you very much for watching. It was a good fun weekend at Lydd, and until next time, have a good one.